Today I'm going to be going over updates we need inside of Driving Empire, but before I do that, make sure to subscribe and drop a like in this video. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, my first idea might be a bit controversial. It's car rentals. Now, basically, in the game, you can buy cars at the car dealership, you can buy planes at the aviation dealer, you can buy houses at the house dealer, you can buy boats at the boat dealer, but what if there was actually a way where you could spend money? I mean, depending on the car, it would probably be more or less. So, like, for example, this Jesco here, let's say you wanted to rent this car for an hour. You could probably say that would be like 250K or so, but depending on the car, it could go up or down. So let's just say maybe 250K for an hour. Actually, is that too little? Maybe that is too little. I don't know. Is that too little? Is that too much? I'm not sure. I'm sure prices could be determined later, but you get the point. Basically, for the more expensive cars, the rentals could be more. For the cheaper cars, they could obviously be cheaper. Now, how could this work? Let's say you don't have the time to fully grind out a Jesco. You could pay fees for when you want to use this car. So that's my thought. Let's say, hypothetically, the Jesco's the car we're using for the example. Let's say, you know, you can't make a choice between buying a Jesco or buying a Pagani, for example. Let's say you can't decide between the Jesco or the Wyra R. With the rental system, it could obviously allow you not only to try out the cars. I get it, they added a test drive feature, but let's say you wanted, you know, the cars, like, just for longer than the little test drive. I think the rentals might be a good idea, you know, an hour with each car for a fair price. And then also, let's say you don't want to own a car exactly, but you just want to drive it around for a bit. Let's say you don't want to own this Wyra, you just want to drive it. You could rent it for an hour. So, you know, rentals, they could have a rental building. My thought is just turn, like, a construction site place like this into a rental building. You go here to the rental building, and you could just rent the cars. More money, obviously, for the more expensive ones. And maybe even they could have fees in there, like, depending on what you want to do. So you could have to pay extra if you want to race the cars you're renting. Obviously, no upgrades, no customization, so it would just be preset, you know, color specifications you could choose probably in the rental shop or something along those lines. For example, let's say you could pick, like, red and white on this car. Maybe you could pick, you know, blue and white, blue and yellow, purple, yellow, you know, just basic color combos when you're renting the car. And that's kind of my thoughts, you know, just have a rental shop and you can pay money, maybe hourly, minute, by the minute, maybe even by the day. You could rent a car for a whole day. That might be a bit too much though, because then it starts to become a bit too OP. But yeah, I think that's my thought with the rental thing. I don't know how you all feel about it though, so comment down below. Alright, my next idea involves displaying motorcycles at houses. Now, yes, well, right now, technically, you could go here and display motorcycles in these normal spots. Motorcycles don't take up as much space as cars do. So my thought is, what if we had designated motorcycle parking spots? Because why would you want to take up this whole space right here? Let me just show you once again. If we go in a garage, it really puts it into perspective. Why are we taking up a whole spot just for a motorcycle? In real life, you could easily put this motorcycle in the middle. So what if they made designated motorcycle parking spots? For example, one could be right here in the middle, literally, like, of these two cars. You could have a motorcycle display spot right here. Outside, you could have a designated motorcycle display spot right here on this corner area is my thought. And this is just one house. At every house, obviously, the spots will be a little bit different. But my thought is, why would they have it taking up, you know, all of these giant spots where the cars could go if we could have designated motorcycle spots that are smaller and motorcycle sized? Because these spots were clearly designed for cars before motorcycles were a thing in the game. So I think, obviously, you know, we need to adapt to motorcycles. So have, you know, motorcycle spots in the garages. Just a little thing they could add. And hey, you know, Driving Empire likes getting money. They charge Robux for extra spots, so what's the negative in it? You know, we get cool spots to display our motorcycles, and Driving Empire can make a bit of extra money off of it, so I don't see why not. Now, on the topic of houses, another update I think we could really use again is more of these theme houses. You know, they added an update with 3 themed houses, and let me just say, these houses are actually really cool, but I wish they added a few more of these theme houses. For example, right here is the Wayfort dealership. And this is actually a really cool house. It makes for some really cool roleplay spots, and it's literally your own car dealership. Like, you literally can own your own dealership, put whatever car you want at it, and it's super cool, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of a tiny car dealership. So, like, what if they actually made larger size car dealership houses, like, you know, your own, and they could even try to work in licensed ones, like a Lamborghini dealership house. Not sure how that stuff would work. It might be more complicated than that, but you know what I'm saying here. Basically, just add more theme houses, and they could even expand it to more than just dealerships. Like, they did one that's a gas station, one that's a cafe. My thought is maybe one is an office building. What other ideas could we come up with? One as maybe even like your own restaurant, your own little drive-thru. Imagine that. Like, I get it, the cafe is kind of got a drive-thru going on right here, but it's not fully drive-thru themed. Like, what if there's actually like a fast food place, like not just cafe, like full fast food themed drive-thru place. Car wash, you could have your own car wash. The ideas are endless here, you know, so many theme houses they can make in another update. Obviously this one's only for rich players in the game. I mean, if you don't have a lot of money, you usually aren't buying these types of houses, but for the people who already have a ton of money, it could be a cool way to blow your money, you know, on some cool looking, you know, unique houses. Another update involves the minimap here. I barely ever have the minimap on, to be honest, but I think it would be cool if they had other players' locations displayed on here with little dots. So you can see how I have an arrow showing my location, but if there were other players in the server, I don't think I could see where they are, but if it had little dots where they are, it's just a neat little detail, you know, kind of a quick one. It's not necessary at all, but it's just a neat idea in my head. And maybe also redesign where this minimap UI is. It kind of covers up some of this UI, so maybe find a better spot for a Driving Empire. Maybe in the top corner. Like, we don't need all this stuff. That's not needed. That's through the rewards thing. I don't know why we would need these up here. Maybe move the minimap up there or something. I don't know. I hate the minimap placement currently, though. I think it could be better, definitely. Maybe just rearranging the UI entirely. Now, my next update idea might be a bit complicated for Driving Empire to do because they would have to get permission from the licensed car brands and also from the companies that are on the designs. But the idea I have is basically preset liveries you could put on some cars. So, for example, the Porsche 918 here is a perfect example of some of the liveries that I think we should have. So my thoughts are, what about like a Golf livery? I know they make those for a lot of cars. And a Martini livery, you know, another one they make for a lot of cars. And the 918 right here is a perfect example. I think it has both of those liveries on it on some cars in real life. So I don't know if that's done through the factory or if people did that aftermarket, but they do look really cool on the cars. So I think it would be nice if we had like preset liveries like that. Another one, kind of more tacky, I think, but I know some players might like it, and it's camo wraps. That one might be easier to do, you know, just having camo liveries that are pre-made that you could put on your cars. But I don't know how the brands would feel about these on their cars. So, you know, the camo one I think is more feasible than obviously the Martini and Golf style liveries. My next update idea is more partnerships. I understand partnerships take a long time obviously to get done, and I'm talking like NASCAR. So with Driving Empire, what they got going with NASCAR right now is amazing. These NASCAR updates they add, phenomenal each time. We get like a new race through NASCAR, and it's really amazing, honestly. I really like what they've done with NASCAR as a partner, but I would love to see them try with other brands. I know Car Dealership Tycoon has done it with monster trucks, I believe. Vehicle Legends has done it with Le Mans. So imagine Driving Empire already having NASCAR manages to get Le Mans in here, right? Imagine they get an F1 partnership as well. I know it's expensive, but the thought of it could be really cool, like an F1, you know, races and all that stuff. Partnerships with monster trucks like Car Dealership Tycoon could be possible. What other stuff, you know? And I've even made videos in the past about them doing it with like Hot Wheels, Lego. So many potential opportunities out there. So it could be really cool for more partnerships, but you know, not much more to talk about. Obviously, we could dream about it all day with the partnerships, but I know it all it comes down to is the money it costs to license these partnerships and facilitate them in game, and it could be very expensive to do, I think. This next update idea I have is actually super easy for them to add, and they probably could end up adding it. So you guys see how you can gift money, right? Like if there was players in the server, it would allow me to gift it to them. What if you could gift cars through the dealership to other players? So let's say me, right? I have 1.5 billion and I just have all this money to blow. I mean, you know, the devs might not trust me to do it because I'd probably give everyone free Koenigsegg Jescos. But hear me out. What if there was a way I could go in here and instead of hitting buy, I could hit gift, and I could gift people like this Pagani right here, or even, you know, other cars like a Koenigsegg. Oh my god, imagine I'm out here gifting Koenigsegg Jescos all day. I'm just live streaming 24 hours gifting the Koenigsegg Jesco to players. You know, this feature would be so easy for them to add. Literally just above this button, it could say gift, and I could click gift, and just like we saw with the game passes, I could gift it to players. And if Driving Empire really wants to be a bit cheeky and make some extra money, you know, I know they do love to do that, so they can make it, you know, an option where you can either gift it with Robux or gift it with in-game cash. I'm sure they would make extra profit off of it, so what's the big deal about it? I think it's a good idea. My next update idea is a monthly seasonal playlist. So there will be 12 per year, obviously, because it's monthly, and, you know, games like Forza have one, I know. Games like Car Dealership Tycoon have one, and basically what it is just, kind of a system where you basically just do challenges to unlock cars and rewards. Now, let's say there were exclusive cars that you had to grind for and work for. It would actually help the game, because if you think about it, right? If we had a monthly playlist, and it would get players coming back every month, so that's one good thing. Another thing you have to think about is rich players like me, for example, who have every car in game. When there's an update, we could just come in immediately, buy all the cars, and then we leave, and it can get boring for players who've already felt like they've completed the game. So with monthly playlists, it would basically allow for these types of players to have something to do. You know, if there's exclusive cars, that the only way to get them is not by just buying them through the dealership. You actually have to complete these challenges each month to get them. It would allow for basically, you know, a system that keeps, you know, all players engaged still. So that's kind of my thought on it. Pretty simple for them to add. I don't see why they wouldn't add it. But yeah, I don't know. Do y'all like that one? That one's kind of a game-changing feature, I feel like. It's like the other features we kind of gone over. Yes, they would have an effect, but not too crazy. But this one would actually change some of the dynamic of the game because, you know, it would introduce a whole new component to it. My next update idea I have is side quests with a storyline. So, kind of a complicated thing, but if we go ahead and look at Forza, they've done it and they've done a great job at it, where basically you go on little side quests and there's a storyline to it, you follow it, and you can unlock rewards from it. Kind of similar to a seasonal playlist type of thing where you can unlock rewards, but this is like something that would be permanently in the game. Maybe they have like 2 or 3 side quests that you can go on, and it would add some storyline to the game, because right now there's no real storyline in Driving Empire. It's kind of a free roam game, but I think it could be really cool and really fun to have like a little side quest you can go on to unlock maybe a free reward car, or some other cool thing in the game, maybe like a house, a boat, a helicopter, something like that. I think it could be really neat. But obviously, you know, that's another kind of game-changing dynamic. So what do you all think of it? Now, my next update idea is something that could kind of be multiple updates throughout the year, and it's more mini events, you know, for smaller holidays and stuff. I know Vehicle Legends does a really good job at it. They recently had a 4th of July event with a free car, and clearly people liked it because it got more views than the Driving Empire update video did, and usually that does not happen with me for Vehicle Legends. So that shows to me that there was a demand there for a smaller event. So, you know, if Driving Empire, obviously I get it if they don't want to put a licensed car in these, but Vehicle Legends just did a fictional car. So if Driving Empire could just do the same with little, you know, 4th of July type of events, obviously, you know, they don't have to do it for every holiday, but just smaller holidays like that with little events could, you know, be something unique for a change. You know, obviously, if we get the same update weekly with just new licensed cars, it does get a bit repetitive. So, you know, a mini event could definitely change things up and be fun, you know, to see here and there. Those are all my update ideas for Driving Empire. Now, let me know which one was your favorite in the comment section below. And remember, if you all like these enough, they will add them, because test drives, they literally used to be in this type of video. Like, I made this type of video a few months back, put test drives in it, and look at it now. Test drives are in the game. So if one of these ideas is good enough in your guys' eyes, comment it down below, and maybe, just maybe, the devs will add it. But I truly hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to drop a like. I would truly appreciate it. Subscribing, the notification bell so you never miss another upload. Check out the video on screen here. YouTube links to like it, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.